So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, Floyd Mayweather, um, he's fighting Logan Paul this Sunday, and he's come out in support of his fellow friend in Errol Spence. He said that he's supporting Errol Spence. He's fully behind Errol Spence, and he believes Errol Spence will beat Manny Pacquiao. And he said he's gonna be ringing Errol Spence to give him some pointers. Obviously, this hasn't gone very well with a lot of the Pacquiao fans. I've had messages out of people messaging me on Instagram. If you haven't followed my Instagram, follow me on Instagram. We're over 3,000 followers now, so I appreciate the support. I appreciate your support on YouTube and my Facebook page, which now has over 40,000 members. So I appreciate everyone that's subscribed to all those pages. But yeah, let's get talking about this. Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, I think, is backing his friend and Errol Spence. And listen, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You know, Floyd Mayweather and Errol Spence have been very close. Normally, Floyd Mayweather, in a fight of this magnitude, normally just stays very neutral. He doesn't say a lot. He just says, "I wish both guys the best, and hopefully the best man wins." But here he's clearly shown his favoritism. He wants Errol Spence to win the fight. He obviously knows Errol Spence for a very long time, and it's not strange for him to say that I'm backing Errol Spence to win the fight. In terms of him saying that he's gonna give him pointers, Floyd Mayweather is a completely different fighter to Errol Spence. I don't think Errol Spence fights like Floyd Mayweather. Errol Spence has his own skill set, has his own attributes, and I don't think he can do what Floyd did. Floyd is a completely different fighter. I think Floyd is once in a generation type of fighter. You know, very difficult to hit him. I don't think Errol Spence is as elusive as that. I don't think Errol Spence has got the feet that Mayweather had. I don't think Errol Spence has got the sharpness, although he is sharp. I don't think he's got the sharpness of a Mayweather. And obviously, Errol Spence is a bigger man. So he's going to have his own attributes that are going to cause Manny trouble. But I do think Manny's attributes that Manny has is going to cause Errol a lot more trouble than it did Mayweather. But again, let's not forget the Manny Pacquiao that fought Floyd Mayweather was a younger Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, I just don't think Errol Spence fights like Mayweather. So although Mayweather can give Errol Spence the advice and tell him, give him the pointers that he was talking about, it's whether Errol Spence can execute those in the ring. Because like I said, they're two different fighters. It's like, if my attributes are different to yours, then, I'm not going to be able to do what you tell me to do. Because Mayweather's going to tell Errol Spence from his standpoint of being in the ring with Pacquiao and what he could do, but whether Errol Spence might not be able to do that. So yeah, I think Errol's he'll obviously take his advice, but I think he'll do what he needs to do inside that ring and look to take. Listen, when you got someone like Mayweather giving you advice, you take it. You got someone like a legend like that, a guy with a lot of knowledge. You have to take his advice, of course. But like I said, Errol Spence has different attributes to Mayweather. Mayweather, like I said, it was once one of a kind in terms of his defensive ability, the things that he could do, the elusiveness. Yeah, you couldn't replicate Mayweather. Mayweather's a unique fighter. There's certain sportsmen, even when you've got young kids coming up, you shouldn't tell your kids or tell them to be like that guy, because that guy's unique. He's a unique sportsman. He's unique in what he does. There isn't going to be anyone like him, and there's no point of telling someone to copy him, because you can't be like him. You can't tell a kid to look at Lionel Messi, try to be like him. It's unique. That's just God-gifted talent. And I think Floyd Mayweather fits into that category, in the sense that, how many fighters have we, seen that are that elusive, that defensive, that difficult to hit? I know a lot of the Pacquiao fans says he hugs and runs around, but no, that it's an art. It's not to be able to get hit. Look at what he did with Canelo. We didn't run with Canelo. He stood there with Canelo, and Canelo couldn't really land on him. So yeah, I don't think comparing Spence. I think Pacquiao in this fight, this is more a style that I think Pacquiao could blossom against. Again, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough, because Errol Spence does have attributes. And like I said, I think Errol Spence is a lot faster than he looks. I think he's deceptively fast. So yeah, I think. Listen, I think both of them have attributes that are going to cause. I think Manny's foot speed and hand speed is going to cause Errol Spence all kinds of trouble. I can just see it. It's the way Errol Spence fights. I can see Manny Pacquiao giving him a lot of trouble. You know, when Danny Garcia got close, I felt like Danny Garcia start letting his hands go. He got near Errol. I think Manny Pacquiao technically is a lot better than Danny Garcia, and I actually think he may even punch harder, and he's definitely got faster hands. So I actually nah, man. This is when you look at it, break it down stylistically, it's not an easy fight. It's just like I said, the wear and tear of Manny, the stamina. Is it going to be able to hold up, especially if Errol Spence starts landing those big body shots, taking it deep? We saw against in the Thurman fight, Manny's stamina was the issue. But like I said, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. Errol Spence, I thought he had a fairly easy night's work against Danny Garcia. I was very impressed how easy he made that fight. I expected Danny Garcia to make that a tough fight for Manny Pacquiao. I mean, sorry, for Errol Spence, but it was anything but that. It was quite comfortable. It was quite easy. A lot of people thought Errol Spence coming off the accident and this is going to be a tough fight, and Errol Spence won that fight comfortably. Which, let's be honest, I think most people thought Errol would beat Danny Garcia, but they weren't expecting it to be that comfortable. And I don't think anyone was expecting Errol Spence to dominate the way he did against Danny Garcia. That was a very, very good performance. I was very impressed, especially coming off that accident and then being inactive for a while. For him to come back and look that sharp and look that good against Danny Garcia, I was impressed. I gotta say, I was impressed. And to be honest with you, he didn't go toe to toe. But the thing is with the Porter fight, Porter has a different style. Porter makes you fight. Porter, he roughs you up and puts you in a situation where you have to fight him. Danny Garcia is a different fighter. Danny Garcia likes to give you space and likes to counterpunch with his big left hooks, and he's got a good right hand. He's a different style of fighter. So I think Danny Garcia's style suited Errol Spence. After the accident, if he was fighting Sean Porter, then I think that would have been a much more difficult fight because Sean Porter would have tested him a lot more. Sean Porter would have gone toe-to-toe with Errol Spence. I know Errol Spence says the reason why the Sean Porter fight was tough because he wanted to fight Sean Porter. He went toe-to-toe. He could have made that fight easier. I disagree. I just think Sean Porter is a difficult fight no matter what because Sean Porter makes you fight his fight. He puts you in a situation where you have to fight him. He's on your chest. He's got a great chin. You can't get him off. He's just on top of you all night. So I don't agree with Errol Spence. I think if Sean Porter fought Errol Spence again, it'd be another tough fight. Maybe Errol Spence will be able to adapt and make the fight easier. Who knows? But I actually think the fight will be tough regardless. If you look at Mayweather when he fought Maidana the first time, the first fight was very tough. A lot of people thought that fight was very close. Some people even thought Maidana deserved a draw, right? Even though I thought Mayweather probably nicked it. But the second fight, even though Mayweather made the adjustments and won clearer, it was still a tough fight. And still Mayweather got wobbled in that fight, It was still a very tough fight. Mayweather came out with, swollen lip and, he took a lot of punches in that fight against Maidana, even the second time round. Maidana landed a lot of shots because Maidana's that type of fighter. It doesn't matter whether you make adjustments and it doesn't matter what you do. It's going to be a tough fight for you. It's going to be a tough night's work when you're going in the ring with Marcus Maidana. So although Mayweather won clearer the second time, it was still a very tough fight because Maidana makes you fight his fight. He makes it rough. He makes it rough, roughs you up, is on your chest, and he's a big puncher. And Porter isn't the puncher Maidana was, but Porter has the similar style where he roughs you up, he takes the fight to you, and you're never going to have an easy night's work when you're fighting Sean Porter, no matter who you are. The same with Maidana. So if I'm honest with you, I think the Porter fight would have been a lot tougher coming off that accident, and I actually think we would have had a lot more questions answered if he had fought Porter instead of Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia's style was a lot easier for Errol Spence. if I'm totally honest with you. I think Porter's style would have been more horrible, especially coming off that accident. I think it would have been a lot more tough. So yeah, I don't think I'm not surprised Mayweather's backing Spence. Leonard Ellaby also said that he thinks that Spence will beat Pacquiao. They're backing. Listen, they're close with Spence, man. They've been around Spence ever since Spence was young. So of course they're going to be backing him. But in terms of the fight, it's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. I think Spence is the favorite in the fight. Of course, the bookie's favorite, but by no means is Pacquiao. You know, he's a live underdog here, and I'm not, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls it off. I think Pacquiao's more than capable. He's a great fighter. Somebody that we know is going to be a problem for anyone that steps in the ring with him. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to this. This is a fight that I've been talking about for years, and I even said that, you know, if Pacquiao doesn't fight, I don't mind seeing Pacquiao fight anyone, but the two guys that I'd love to see him fight are Crawford and Spence, and he's fighting one of them. He's fighting one of them, and listen, this is a legacy fight. This is a legacy defining fight for Pac-Man. And this could put him on different status. They could put GOAT status now. We're talking GOAT status. We're talking GOAT level. That's where Manny Pacquiao's reaching to. He's reaching very, very high. Very, very high. He's got it all. Pacquiao he's got the heart. He's got a great resume. He fights anyone and everyone. Yeah. For me, him beating Errol Spence, for me, puts him above anyone in this era. And that's including Floyd. I know some people will say, oh, no, Floyd beat him, this, that. No. I just think what he's doing at 42 years old, fighting Spence. Yeah. Because I don't know whether Mayweather, like at 37, 38, would have been able to beat Errol Spence. I know he beat Canelo, but again, I think when Mayweather fought Berto, and when he fought McGregor, for example, how old was Mayweather then? I think actually Mayweather might have been 40. But Manny Pacquiao's 42. So, and he's fighting stiff competition. So Mayweather at 40 for me I don't think he beats Errol Spence. Or I don't even think might even be, yeah. I think the Mayweather that fought McGregor gets beat by Errol Spence. Would he even beat Furman? That would be a tough fight as well. But I think Manny Pacquiao, still people see him as competitive, and still people see him with a chance of beating Spence. I think that shows how high up Spence is in Pacquiao is at the minute in people's estimations. A lot of people think Pacquiao could be, if Pacquiao beats Errol Spence, he's number one pound for pound, as far as I'm concerned. With the history that he's got, with a win like that, and then coming off a win against Thurman 2 years ago, for me, I'm sorry, he's number one pound for pound. I know Canelo's doing what he's doing, but Canelo hasn't beaten anybody you could say pound for pound as good as Spence recently. Right? So if Pacquiao beats Errol Spence, he's number one pound for pound. There ain't no one on that pound for pound list beating anyone as good as Spence. And if Spence beats Pacquiao, he's close to number one pound for pound. Because, like I said, there's no one on that pound for pound list that has beaten anyone as good as Pacquiao. So, and either way, if Pacquiao beats Spence, no one on that pound for pound list has beaten anyone as good as Spence. And if Spence beats Pacquiao, nobody on that pound for pound list has beaten anyone as good as Pacquiao. Who's on that pound for pound list that's beaten anyone as good as Pacquiao? You tell me. Canelo, who's he recently beat? Billy Joe? Callum Smith? They're not on Pacquiao. They're not on Pacquiao's level. Who else? Terence Crawford, well, he's not beaten anyone on that level. Number 3 is Inoue, he's not. Number 4, Usyk, he hasn't. Number 5, Taylor hasn't. Number 6, you get the gist, right? We're talking, if both guys win, they both have claim for number one pound for pound. I think more so Pacquiao, just because of the fact that Pacquiao's, the resume that he's already got. And then beating someone like Errol Spence at 42, who's considered in most people's top. I actually think he should be in the top 5. I don't think it's all about, like, I know Taylor became undisputed and stuff, but I don't think just because you're undisputed, you all of a sudden go in the, like, I think it's not just, it's about your resume, it's about your skills as well. And when you look at Spence compared to Taylor, for example, right, Spence has beaten better guys than Taylor, right? And for me, Spence has got the better skills as well. So, yeah, I think he's definitely top 5 for me. So, for me, Pacquiao will be beating somebody top 5 pound for pound. And at 42 years of age, it's hard to make a case that he's not the best in the world. Simple as that. So, I know pound for pound is normally like body of work and stuff, but Manny Pacquiao, I know he's been inactive and stuff, but when you have a great win like that, against, if he was to pull off the win against Spence, then you have to bring up his resume. And his resume, like I said, is unrivaled. And even Canelo, for example, who I believe on the current pound for pound list has got the best resume, Canelo's resume doesn't compare to Pacquiao's. Pacquiao's resume is silly. Like, let's be honest, Pacquiao's resume is the best in boxing. He's got the best resume, the guy that's most so he's an active fighter still. Out of all the active fighters out there, Pacquiao has the best resume. Pacquiao is currently an active fighter with the best resume. And what I mean by active fighter, a fighter that's not retired. You could say a Pacquiao's not active. He isn't active, but he's still active in terms of he hasn't retired. And there isn't a fighter in boxing right now that has a better resume than Manny Pacquiao. If there is, leave your thoughts in the comment section, because I don't think there is. So that's my take on it. Leave your thoughts. Floyd Mayweather backing Errol Spence to beat Manny Pacquiao. Says that he's going to give him a few tips. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.